Hi, my name is Michael Peak, and welcome to part 2 of Releasing Negative Feelings About Men. This is part 2. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, you might want to put this one on pause and go back and check out the other one, because that one's got a lot of explanation about what this is all about, why we're doing it, and it also has some wonderful clearing processes on it that'll help you get started on this one. Now we're going to explain a little bit about this one too, and if you're wondering who I am, I explained it a little bit in part 1. I am one of the presenters in the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar for women, and we do a lot of clearing work in that event. It's a 3-day event, and it's set up to help you release, first of all, a lot of negative feelings about men. And in the first video, we did a general clearing regarding negative feelings about men. There are lots of different layers. I have found that over the years, it's not just a general thing and it's not just a specific thing. There are different layers. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about the layer of that one guy, the one guy who did the biggest zinger on you. Now, instantly what might come to mind is that one guy who might be an ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend, and he may very well be the one guy. I want you to spend some time thinking about it first before we get too far into this. I want you to really think about it, because it could be someone totally different than an ex-partner. And while it very well could be, it might be a father, or it might be an uncle. It might even be your son. Think about that, because that often comes up in the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar, where at least one woman, that comes up for her as negative feelings regarding her son. Now here's why we want to take care of this. This is really important. We want to remove the negative feelings about it, because let's say that you are off to an important meeting. It can be anything at all, any meeting. It could be a business meeting. Perhaps you're going to go meet a new client, perhaps an investor. Or maybe it's a personal meeting. Maybe you're going to go see an old friend who you haven't seen in a long time. Or maybe you have a first date lined up and you're off to go see your first date. And let's say that you see someone who looks like or reminds you of that one guy, the one guy who did the biggest zinger. May not even be him, it just looks like him enough that you are reminded of that person. What happens? Instant bad mood. Instant bad mood. And you know what I'm talking about, you know? I mean, even if you don't know personally, which you're watching this, so I'm pretty confident that you know, pretty sure what I'm talking about. And we all do. As adults, we've been through enough. There's always someone that reminds you of something that can, you know, that can get you and put you in a bad mood. But let's say that you see that someone, and that someone reminds you of the one guy. Well, what happens is you're instantly in a bad mood. Well, then what? How well does your meeting go? Let's say it's a business meeting and you're going to go meet a brand new prospective client. And just as you're about to walk in the door, there's someone there who looks like that one guy. And it's not even him, but it looks like him. Or worse, it is him. You see him just as you're walking in. How well is that meeting going to go? Not very well. You're going to be very distracted, upset. And you know, you can tell when people are upset. You can tell when people are angry. Well, they can tell when you're upset and when you're angry too. And if you're in a meeting with someone and you're upset and you're angry about something, they know, and they aren't going to know why. They're just going to know that you walked in and you're not in a very good mood. And they aren't going to know that you just saw that guy out there and that's what's the cause of it. They're just going to know that you're dealing with them and you're not playing at 100%. So we want to make sure that we remove that. Now the same thing is true as, let's say that you're going on a first date and maybe you met someone on one of the internet dating sites and you've talked over the phone and you're going to go meet this guy at the coffee house, and right as you're walking in you see someone driving by that looks like that one guy. Well, how well is the first date going to go? It's not. It's going to be really bad. The guy's going to wonder what's wrong with you. And you then, in addition to that, when you're walking in feeling bad about some other guy, you're going to project that onto the new guy, and you're going to instantly have negative feelings about him, even though he had nothing to do with whatever it is that was going on with that other one guy. So are you beginning to understand why this is important? I'm sure you do. Now, again, the key is what's going on with you. Why is this? It doesn't matter why. We all have our stories. We all have, you know, people get to a certain age and you know you know people that they just rant and rave about their ex-spouse. You know, that's every time you deal with them, they're upset about something that their ex-spouse did. Well, it's tiring. And if that's you, it's really tiring. It's tiring for the people around you. And it must really be tiring for you as well, because you're the one who's saying that story over and over and over. So the more that we can release stuff like this, the faster that we can go and be more successful. And let's face it, if you have negative feelings about an ex-spouse and you really are charged about that, it's going to be really hard to find someone new in a romantic setting, because you're sending out the wrong signal. Every time you think of romantic setting, you think of that one guy, the negative ex-spouse or the next negative ex-boyfriend, and that comes up and you're sending out that signal of negativity. So you're naturally going to push away all the people who might be interested in being with you. So it's important that we get rid of this stuff. Now, there are many, many layers to this. Again, I hope that during this time that I've been talking, you've been thinking about it. Is it your ex-husband? Is it ex-spouse? It could very well be, and that's great. Could very well be your father or an uncle. Could very well be a teacher that you had. Could very well be your son. And I just want you to think about that. Which one is it? Because we're going to do a process right now to help you release some negative feelings about that one guy. So we're going to do a process, and I want you to follow along. Do all of it. Do all of it. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. I really can help you here. I really can help you release some negative feelings. And it does work. It will work. You have to play along. I can't force this on you. You have to participate. So everything that I ask you to do here, I just want you to follow along. It's not that hard. It's actually pretty simple. And I think that you'll enjoy the process. Ready? Great. So make sure that there's no phones or anything that could possibly ring that's going to interrupt you, because this is quiet time. This is personal time. And it's not going to take very long. We're going to get rid of something pretty quickly here. But we want to make certain that we're not interrupted. So this is your time. So make sure that you're taking care of you during this private time. So no cell phones, nothing that can be distracting, okay? I've even locked up my cats so the cats can't come in here and meow and howl during this, okay? Now, begin by just finding a relaxing place to sit, and just sit back and close your eyes. Close your eyes and keep them closed until I tell you to open them. Begin by taking a couple of long, slow, deep breaths. That's right. Now I want you to just stop and go inside and get a really good mental image that represents that one guy. Be able to see him really clearly. Get a good mental image. And get all of the negative feelings that you have about him as strongly as you possibly can. Any anger, frustration, betrayal, anything, abandonment, anything at all. Get it all as strongly as you possibly can. That's right. Now take the image and the negative feelings and notice it expanding until it becomes twice the size. Now notice it expanding again, so much so it fills the entire room that you're sitting in. Now that probably feels pretty icky right about now, but you've proven you can shift its size. So notice it shrinking all the way down to its original size. And now notice it shrinking again, all the way down to the size of a pea. And now notice it turning pink. And I'd like for you to imagine that you're standing on a beautiful beach at sunset. And take that pink pea into your hand and throw it out into the water as far as you possibly can. And notice that when it hits, it's going to splash up really high, really far, in a really cool color, any color you want it to be. And that color is filled with confidence and success now. That color comes towards you and fills in the entire area where the negative feelings used to be. When you've done all that, and when you're ready, and only when you're ready for the unwanted feelings are gone forever, now you may open your eyes. And if you haven't opened your eyes yet, please do so now. So how was that? Pretty cool, huh? Pretty valuable? Now, in the past, when you thought of this one guy, when you thought of them, you'd instantly get this negative feeling and you'd get all tense really quickly. I know that you did because when we were talking about it, I could see it. I could see you do that. And before, you got this negative feeling, but now when you think of him, notice how you now feel different. Probably pretty neutral, huh? And there's nothing to feel great about. We're not talking that you need to feel good about him. There might not be any reason to feel good about him, but we don't want to feel bad about him either. It's better to just feel neutral. And I've got a feeling that that's how you're feeling right about now, pretty neutral. And it's going to stay that way. And this is really important for you to let go of stuff like that. Because the more that you can let go of, the better that you can respond. Instead of reacting, now you can respond. And perhaps you have to deal with this one guy still on a regular basis. Perhaps he is your ex-spouse and you're having to deal with him regarding the kids. Well, now you're going to notice that you can handle him a lot better. It's not going to bother you when he says or does whatever it is that he says or does that gets to you. You're going to notice that it's much more relaxing. Now, how important is that? It's going to be great. It's going to be great for you because you'll be much more relaxed. It'll be great for him because chances are he doesn't want to have the aggravation either. And it's going to be especially great for your kids because they definitely don't want the aggravation. They don't want the whole angry scene between you and your ex-husband. Believe me, they don't. All right? So this is going to be a huge, huge shift for you. Now, you can, of course, anytime just play this back and pick something else if you want to. I know that during the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar, there comes a point where I ask, anyone have another one guy? And all of the hands go up. There's actually more than one guy. There actually can be a few. I understand that. So if you need to play this back and go through this, that's fine. And the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar, I invite you to check it out. It's a 3-day event. We do 3 days of processes like that. And we help you release all of your negative stuff about men and about love and about sex and about money. And it helps you become much more flexible in your life and much more prosperous, more abundant, and have better, healthier relationships with everyone around you, and especially and including your kids, which is really great. So I invite you to check out the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar. It's at intrinsicallymagnificent.com. It's a 3-day event, and I would love to see you there. We have some great presenters there. It's not just me. I'm just one of them. And we have some wonderful women who do a whole lot of different things, from money to success to intimate relationships. And I think that you're just about ready for all of that. So I look forward to connecting with you. You have a prosperous day.